We are now in week 7, and in week 7 we are going to actually submit the planning memo. Some of you have probably been working on the planning memo, but I wanted to go over the guidelines for this since it is now week 7 and the planning memo is due. Here is an overview, and if you look at the bottom, you will see the directions for the planning memo. It must be in the form of a memo, and I do have a sample posted. If you click this link, you go directly to the sample. The sections of the memo are as follows. You need description of the topic, audience, research, research questions, secondary research, and a plan for your primary research. In addition, the last part is going to be talking about your qualifications. So let's look at the planning memo together. As the name implies, it is a memo, so it has to take a memo or a memorandum format. So that means there are certain features. You have to have a to and a from. So whoever your target audience is, and I've been saying all along, you need to figure out who is your audience. This is the group for whom you are actually writing the report. Who would benefit from this report? In our case, it really is hypothetical because you are not presenting to that audience, but you are writing as if you were presenting to a particular audience. So that's the name that would go in here. Obviously, under from comes your name. You're going to send a copy to me, so my name should go in here. Then you have the date in which you write it, and lastly is the subject matter. So the first section is a description of the topic. So read through this on your own and see, how they described it or how this person described it. The next section is audience. Remember, again, I've been saying who the audience is, and this should match more or less what you have here at the top. The research section is made up of 3 particular parts. The first part are the research questions. Now, this person had a lot of research questions. The more you have, the better, but you don't have to go overboard. This is probably a little bit more than most people would need. Then you're going to talk about the secondary research. That is the research that you are doing for your for the literature review, in which is also based off your annotated bibliography. So you had to do the annotated bibliography first, then you can write this section here in the planning memo for your research. The primary research is basically, I would like to know what you are going to do as far as collecting data. And again, this is something that I have addressed earlier on last week when you were getting approvals for your topics. My question was, how are you going to collect data? What group can you use to collect data? You want to keep this as simple as possible. You really have 2 main choices, and that's all you really have to do for this course. You can either do an interview or you could do a survey. You should start thinking about the interview questions or the survey questions now, because that will be due at the end of week 8. The last section talks about the qualifications. Why are you qualified to even write about this topic? So that is a brief overview of what that looks like. In addition, I would like to show you the rubric. So this is the rubric that I will be using to score your planning memos. The planning memos are worth 50 points, so you really want to take the opportunity to do a decent job with this. Here are the different categories. We have purpose, audience and awareness, analysis, content support, coherence, document design, style, and SWE stands for Standard Written English. That is grammar, punctuation, and mechanics. So have a look over the rubric. because this is what I will be using to score your planning memos. So again, if you have any questions about the planning memo, please get in touch with me either through email, you can IM me, or we can meet virtually in the online meeting room.